Welcome 2019 Blue Devils champions and an introduction to our first online practice where we're going to take a look at our first of two bowl games where we will face the Donelson Hermitage Warriors. Some of you will remember us playing them back Pee Wee season on a Thursday night under the lights where we lost a really close game. I believe it was around 12-13. It was a 1-point loss to a very good football team, and they have challenged us, and we have risen to the challenge, and we plan on going down there here in 2 days. Thursday night at 6:45 p.m. we will kick off and play the Warriors. And so what I had done was a couple of weeks ago before our playoff game, I went to the state championship for Mid-State. That is where Donelson plays now, and they had faced a Bordeaux team that is currently undefeated. They had faced each other once earlier in the season. Bordeaux beat them 14-0. They ended up losing the state championship in big form, where Bordeaux beat them 35-6 and knocked them out, and actually ended up forcing them to forfeit in the fourth quarter, via their 30-point rule. So they actually didn't win their state championship like we did. They got beat, and they got beat bad. We're going to watch the first half of that game here in what's going to be our first online training, or we're going to just call it a practice here, where the weather's a little chilly. We kind of all know what we're doing. I just wanted to really give you guys kind of a view of who we are going to be facing as an opponent, and more importantly, what you can be thinking about as far as your position, what you're doing. And I want you to recognize what we are going to be looking at on Thursday night. You know, if you can take game film, it takes our whole experience to another level when you can start to examine what the other team is doing. Things that you will look for in game film will be who is lining up on the other side of you and what is that individual doing. On defense, when you guys look at different offensive alignments where they have 5 wide receivers, or maybe they run a power formation, you can count the linemen and kind of recognize that when they start to do things over and over, they tend to want to do the same things in their big games. So what happens is when you see certain formations live, you can look and kind of know, like, they're probably going to give the ball to that guy right there, or they like to throw this certain pass in this certain situation. If you know things like that going into a football game, on top of the physical and the mental and being prepared on offense and defense and special teams, it gives us an edge over our opponents. You know, for the last few years, you guys have had an exceptional season after season. We have played up, we've played all the way around, and at the end of the day, this is an aspect of our game that's going to rise us above and beyond what we've been able to achieve so far. 5 years, 4 state championships. I plan on getting a couple more before it's over with. So let's dive right into really what is the opening kickoff here. And I'm going to be kind of going a little bit back and forth. I'm going to let some of the audio play because as I filmed, I kind of critiqued it already. So I want you guys to kind of listen firsthand what I was seeing and experiencing during their game. We're going to watch most of these plays in sequence. We only got the first half recorded because we had a playoff game that I had to get to, so we left a little early. But we are going to see several formations. We're going to see several indicators and keys that I believe we are going to be able to take advantage of, not only on special teams, but also on offense and defense. So let's kind of kick off right here. This is the opening kickoff to their state championship here just a couple of weeks ago. Now, Jason and Cheeseburger, if you're watching this, you kickoff team guys, I want you to communicate without being too obvious. We're going to probably see about 3 or 4 kicks here because Bordeaux kept scoring. They kept on having to kick off. I want you to take a look right here in the middle. So let me grab a tool right here. Look at this area on your screen right here, right in the dead center. Now, notice how deep their kickoff people are. They got 1, 2, 3 guys real deep. They've only got 3 people on the second level. Everyone else is spread out really far across this field. Now, this is Vanderbilt football stadium. It's a little bit wider than most of the traditional fields we play on. Matter of fact, the Donelson field we play on will feel much smaller than this field. However, at least here, they're showing multiple times this very large gap in their receiving team. If our kicker was to kick a not necessarily an onside kick, but just one that would bounce, and we could get a lucky bounce in this area, I believe we are going to have a chance to recover some footballs. I'm not talking about an onside kick necessarily as much as I am just to notice repeatedly here they are obviously leaving a huge gap. The amount of distance between these players is much greater right here every time. So if we could focus the energies of the guys who are in the middle here on not just covering your lanes, but to directly be trying to get the football in this area. Also, very important, they have some speed guys back here. You got to stay in your lanes. Memphis, Gian, your outside guys, we want to kind of hang back a little bit. Everyone else staying really close to their lanes in case we kick it a little too deep. We want to make sure that we're covering. These guys will get loose and they will take it all the way to you. You don't want that to happen to us. We want everybody to stay in their lanes this week, okay? So let's go ahead and watch the kickoff here, and we'll move on to the next play.
The sweet spot right there. Or right here. Or right here. Donaldson got 3 super deep. It's a waste of a block. You kick it short. They want you to kick it right here. Golly. Bordeaux. Yeah, they got it there too. Speed, athleticism, no good.
Now, one thing you're going to notice about Bordeaux is that they were really aggressive, and they did a really good job that day of applying pressure. Our defense has been really good overall to do the same thing, basically putting a lot of pressure on the other team. And so I think that you guys are going to have a lot of fun as long as you guys are wrapping up and being aggressive. Now, what we're looking for here here's one of the first formations of the day for Donelson. Donelson's in red. The black and white team is Bordeaux. We're not going to be playing them this year. We're only focused on the yellow and the red team here. This is their very first formation, and it's one of very few that they run. I think they only show about 6 different formations today, but about 3 of them are consistently produced. So just take a look at where you might be lined up against it and what play they run out of it, who tends to get the ball. I think it becomes pretty obvious.
Donaldson comes out. All right.
Now, this is a straight-up wing tee, okay? So count the linemen. You got 7 guys. Quarterback makes 8. 9 is the wing. And then you've got 10 and 11 in the backfield. So if you're looking at this alignment, you got your quarterback. Hold on one second. Let me back this up just a second. You got your quarterback here, your wing, and then you got the 2 backs. They like to give it to this guy, the deep back. Now, I'm not saying they're not going to run a reverse to this guy. I'm not saying this fullback won't go straight up the gut. I'm saying the 3 traditional plays out of this set is just that. But what they like to do is they like to get this blocker, these 2 blockers out here in front, and then bring this guy around. That's what they like to do. So you need to kind of be aware of that, not to over pursue, though. They could easily fake that and bring this guy back around. And they're going to show you something similar to that later. But I want you guys just to kind of recognize this is a traditional formation with a wing tee. And they like to run power out of it. They're going to run right to that wing guy and try to put pressure on that edge.
All right. Unbalanced. Belly. Ate that up. Unbalanced. Belly. Ate.
D-line, take a look. Their linemen do not look huge. Now, Bordeaux's linemen are not small, but they're clearly bigger than Donelson's. And so they are having their way. If you play on the right side of the D-line, it looks like they got almost like an end trying to block you. I don't know who that is, if it's Jaden or whoever that right tackle is on our defense. To our right side, I don't really have a field day. But if you guys stay low, their line is letting the big guys cut through like butter. Look at a lot of these plays end up getting hit in the backfield.
Unbalanced. Belly. Ate that up.
I think you guys are going to eat it up too. Let's keep going. This is their second play of the game. They like to take their time calling their plays in, so the defense ought to have time to be able to get set. Notice how the front guys here are taking a knee. They're not standing around, kind of resting.
Balanced.
This is the other formation. They've got a quarterback right behind a full 7-man line. But then behind them, there's 3 backs. They're not even really in order. I mean, they're kind of like they're supposed to be in line, I think. I don't know, but that you can see that 2 of them are farther back. They're kind of staggered. I don't know if that's by design or not, but we will see this formation 3 or 4 times. From my experience and just what they have traditionally done, usually what we see is all of them running this way or all of them running this way. Now, I did see a play at one time a little later on. The play gets busted up by a penalty or something, but all 3 of these guys, they shift out wide, kind of like we do with our Godzilla. I have no idea what they were about to do. If they were going to run the quarterback or if they were going to throw out of it, I don't know. They didn't really show it, but expect some movement out of these 3. But that traditionally, they'll either all go to one side or the other. But if you recognize this formation, quarterback up close, 3 guys in a line in the back, you kind of know what's coming. Typically, it's going to be a sweep.
3 in the back. Sweeping out. Good Lord. Defense again come through there. Out. Good Lord. Sweeping out. Good. 3 in the back.
I want you guys to focus down here. You want to see a big hit? You want to see somebody get pancaked? Watch this tackle. I don't know if that's Jaden or Markel. He blows up this offensive end. Then he blows up the fullback. Then he blows up the runner. I mean, it's just a big old smash hit. Fun to watch. They ate it up all day. Check it out. Watch it again.
Sweeping out. Good. Sweeping out. 3 in the back. Sweeping out. Good Lord.
It's going to be a hitting night come Thursday night. We're going to have a lot of fun. Again, if you guys are watching these plays and recognizing these formations, looking in the backfield, see what we're facing. I think that we're going to be able to have a big advantage over them.
Dude just cracked and he's about to die.
Yeah, big boy's tired after that hit.
Now they're going double eagles, and so is 3.
Okay, now this is really, really important. We either going to get, it's either going to be a long night or a fun night if we recognize this. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 eligible receivers. Now, this is a traditional double eagle formation for us. Let me tell you what they do. I haven't seen them do much else than this. This inside, what we call a slot, runs up 5 and out. Outside guy goes real deep. Now, this quarterback has an arm. He can let it go about 25, 30 yards in the air if you let him. They will go deep on you. So we got to make sure. Look how far back Bordeaux's cornerbacks are. I mean, they're giving these guys 10 yards off the ball. Why? Because they've played them before. They know they'll go deep. If you're all caught up in here, they'll throw it right here and expect him to catch it. You need to be aware of that. It's a really big deal on the outside. This outside guy is running a go. He don't do anything else. There is no real sense of us trying to be up here, get a chance to get beat, make him run into you, watch the quarterback turn and run with him. I think that's going to give us our best chance. I'm going to let your defensive coordinator talk to you about that, but once he watches this video and realizes they run this about 5 times, the outside guy always runs a go. You might as well let him run to you instead of trying to jam him up, because I think that our inside guys will put a lot of pressure on their line. You'll see that Bordeaux gave this quarterback a heck of a day. He was always running, but he still completes his passes. So I want you to pay attention to him in that he will get him off. Again, this guy's running a 5-yard out. This guy's running a go. If you play this position right here, they will throw this every single time. If you're reading this quarterback, you'll kind of roll out. This is a pick six situation all day long if you're watching that quarterback. Watch when he releases it. He's trying to let it go right about the time this guy gets to his breaking point, which is exactly 5 yards and out. If you're reading that, step in front of it, it's a pick six all day long. I'm telling you, they run the same thing. They only do it a couple different things a couple times. Traditionally, this is what they're going to show us, though. Let's take a look at it.
2 formations in 2 seconds. Every other play. Defense on ready. Shotgun. Get stiff on that. He's still ready to throw, too. Ready, got it.
Now, notice how the defender left his man and went to go get the quarterback. If you're playing in the middle here, I want you to watch the middle. If you're playing on the outside, though, watch what your guy does. If you stick with him, you have a better chance of defending him. Watch how Bordeaux does it. They held him to 6 points that day, and I believe that we're just as good as Bordeaux.
Shotgun. Get stiff on that. He's still ready to throw, too. Ready, got it.
Now, they complete that pass for 2 yards, but defender, he had enough pressure on him in the backfield. If you stick with your guy, you pick that ball off or he never throws it. He takes a sack almost every time. Watch it one more time.
Defense on ready. Shotgun. Get stiff on that. He's still ready to throw, too. Ready, got it.
That quarterback's poised. He wasn't scared of that blitz. He doesn't get scared all day either, but he runs for his life the whole day. I think that we're going to be able to put the same kind of pressure on him.
Bordeaux's first possession. Here they go, double wing.
Now, this is Bordeaux's first possession. They went 3 and out on their first possession. DONELSON did, and Bordeaux took over, and they took over quick. I mean, they score within 4 or 5 plays every single time, as I feel that we will as well. But what I do want the offense to look at here is some very key things. First of all, the defense never changes. It stays the same. Second thing, I want you to realize how far off their cornerbacks are playing. We never play teams that do this. I don't think that they're going to do anything different when they play us, but look how far off the line of scrimmage he is. This is the line of scrimmage here. He's 4 yards back. We are sweeping out of this. You're going to have to go find that guy. It's going to take him half the time just to get up here. So running backs, very important this week when we're sweeping. Don't run this way and trying to do this. No. Take off and go. Because if you're going to catch him at a bad angle, if you run sideways to the sideline, you're giving him time to close on you. If you cut it up, you got problems right here. But the thing is, you're not giving him time to react. So we're going to be able to meet these guys right here at the point of contact and free our guy up. Let's watch it.
I'm finna call you the plays out as they come. Motion man, pitch and give. Ooh, there it is.
Now look at Bordeaux, did a poor job with these big guys. Look right here in the middle where if these big guys get out in front and make those blocks, oh, that's a touchdown. The running back shot in front of him, didn't follow his blockers, ends up getting tackled. Donelson's going to be hitters. They're going to wrap you up. They're not going to shoulder tackle you. They're going to hit you in the mouth. They're going to play hard. They're going to be sound tacklers. So you're going to want to make sure that you're utilizing your blocks backfield. And when you are blocking out of the backfield, you're going to need to go make contact. You're going to notice a thing on repetition here with their defense. They tend to take backward steps first. So like even their linebackers, they'll back up 3 or 4 steps before they come up and engage. I think we're going to be able to take advantage of that if we are aggressive. If we fill that space with bodies, by the time they engage, we've got the speed to shoot through those gaps. It's going to be something that we're going to want to watch to make sure that we are not getting out in front of our blockers like we did when we played Murfreesboro. We're going to want to let those blocks develop and make sure that they're making contact, and then use those lanes to shoot through to give us the biggest advantage. Let's go to the next play here. Okay, so I remember this play. I want you guys to pay close attention to this play. It only happens one time. This is a punt formation for Donelson. I don't understand it. I don't know if they did this on purpose or by design, but look at all these guys on this one side. I think he's supposed to be like giving them a quick snap, and he's supposed to step behind that wall and kick it. But the punt, the snapper throws the ball way up in the air and it comes down. Horrible, horrible snap. Look at this side over here. If they end up in a punt formation and you're a speed guy and you're not back kicking, you're receiving, and you come hard, you got a chance to block this thing. You got a chance to tackle this guy, block him, pick the dang ball up and run with it. It's wide open. I'm going to show it to you here again. We're going to actually watch the play maybe twice. I just want you to see how bad of a job they do punting it and how open this bottom side is away from where they got these guys jumbled up. Let's watch it again. Now, I'm going to tell you something. The reason why that play sucks is because they don't punt much. They go for it on almost every single 4th down. On the rest of this game, they never punt again. The reason why their punt team isn't very good is because they don't punt very often. They don't mind going for it on all 4 downs, number one. They don't care where they are on the field. And because they don't get the practice, tends to look like that. And we aren't much better at it. But we did well in the state championship game. I expect that if we're in a situation to punt again, we can handle it. But just to understand that if they are in a punting situation, they're not used to it. Give that center a hard time. Bum rush them. Get through there. Put some pressure on them, and you're likely to get a turnover like Bordeaux was able to do right here.
Play the game. Double wing. See if we can go.
So again, look at the defense here. I want you to take a look at how far off these cornerbacks are. These cornerbacks are giving us, a whole 5 yards right here. And as long as we can get this guy blocked on the end and the first guy through can seal, oh, Lord, what are we talking about? We'll have a lot of room here in lane-wise to get outside. And you're going to really see that when Bordeaux puts a wide receiver out here, how much room they're actually giving to us on our play number 1. I think play number 1 scores a touchdown on the first try.
Motion, usually give, yep. Cut back. Touchdown.
They're playing on a short field so that they don't have to get all the way to the end zone on that field. That's why they scored right there. But we'll keep on watching.
Bordeaux come for 2-point conversion.
Now, this is the goal line defense of Donelson. I want you to kind of take a look how it doesn't change much. And what I see here is an opportunity to go up the middle. They tend to think that they can stop the sweep by pushing out their tackles and their linebackers and their defensive ends. They do a pretty good job of it. However, they leave the middle wide open, and I believe we're bigger than them. If we can get a big push like we did in the championship game, we'll keep getting those 5, 6, 7, 8, 9-yard in touchdowns through the middle, which is exactly what Bordeaux figures out.
Go ahead and call it here. They're going to give it to this wing. It's going to look like a reverse back to the other side or directly to this fullback. Motion. Oh, no, they swept it again. 3 plays in a row. They love it. And got it.
We'll keep on plugging. This is another kickoff. Again, look at the gap right in front of where the ball is, right to kind of the right side of where we're going to be kicking it.
They're going deep, though, to the skill players. Stay in your lanes.
Stay in your lanes. That's a big deal. It's going to be a big deal this week, too.
That's 7-on-1.
So here's that formation again where we've got 3 running backs kind of in a straight line. This has to be by design. The guy in the very back, I think, is supposed to be the deepest. Then they get like a little more shallow. They're like kind of pointing to the right this time. They kind of pointed to the left last time. Let's just see what they do. Again, I expect a sweep out of this if I'm looking at it.
3 backs in the backfield. Quarterback under center. Ooh, shifty.
All right, let's look at it again.
In the backfield. Quarterback.
Again, they did the same thing. If I see this formation, what am I thinking? I'm thinking they're going to go right, or I'm thinking they're going to go left. I told you one other time they shifted the whole bunch of them about right over here. I didn't get to see what they were going to do because the play ended, but it's pretty predictable, right or left. So far, they've only run this to the right. We'll see. There's a couple more plays.
Back under center. Ooh, shifty.
You're not going to arm tackle this kid. I'm telling you, he's not big. That's the problem. He's small and he's shifty. He's fast. He'll bounce right off of you. Those tacklers for Bordeaux never miss tackles. You see that he got through about 4 of them right there because they're trying to shoulder butt him. It's not going to work this week, guys. You're going to end up having a long day if you don't wrap this kid up. I think that we can put enough pressure on the line where he never even gets to the line of scrimmage. But you can see he can be dangerous if you let him get through.
That's 7-on-1.
I think this is that same
3 backs in the backfield.
Let's make sure.
Quarterback under center.
Yes, when we just watched. Hold up.
Coming back with it. This time they got a wing to the right.
Okay, so now we're right back to that wing T. So far we've seen the double eagles where they had the inside slots running out passes and they're trying to throw that. We've seen this a couple times, and we've seen that three kind of in a row formation that they have. This is their traditional wing T. Last time they gave it to the back in the very back and ran it towards the wing to the right. Let's see what they do this time.
I formation. Deep back.
Same kid got the ball, except for he didn't go to the wing. It was more like a 21 dive, 23 dive. He came from the deep set right up the middle, but it still went to that deep back.
Coming back with it. This time they got a wing to the right. I formation. Deep back.
Again, he's fast, but I think that you have an upper hand if you can keep him contained. Right back to the same formation, right? We got that wing on the right, I formation in the back, wing T.
Get that I formation again, wing right. Same play.
Same play, other side. Again, he's just kind of looking for a hole. They're turning around and give it to him. That's the deep guy. 3 times in this formation, 3 times they gave it to him. Before I start this play, I want to show you something. This is really important because they almost got away with one here. They called a timeout. This was by design. Watch this kid right here. He's actually parallel with the referee. The rest of the team is already on the field. This guy's walking back towards the line. They're trying to hide this guy. He literally stands right next to his coach right here, and they try to run a trick play on 4th down. Now, they're trying to get it to him deep, but they end up getting a penalty. But I want you to watch how this whole thing plays out. Look at him hitting down here. Nobody's guarding him. Nobody's on him. This guy's backing up, and nobody's got the slot. Because of this formation, nobody grabbed him. This guy noticed that there was somebody here. He never called for help. This guy should have been out here on him. Meanwhile, they snapped it, right? Trying to take advantage of a misalignment.
Shotgun, weak side. Those are deep. He's wide open.
So nobody picked that man up because of that formation. Look at it one more time. The guy's walking off the field like he's not playing. And then all of a sudden, the corner sees him. He backs up. Nobody picks up the slot. The guy, they're in double eagles here. They run the inside guys on out routes just like they did the first time.
Weak side. Those are deep. He's wide open. Penalty down here, too.
They like that play.
Tried to pull a trick play, try to walk one of the players off the field when they broke the huddle. He was trying to sneak off. Seeing that, they mad as hell about it. He was trying to sneak off and then held him right there on the sideline and then ran the play.
So notice it's 4th down. They don't bring that punt team out again. They're not going to do it. They're going to go for it.
And he ran up the field, and then they ran out right out in front of him. He's trying to
watch this play on 4th down. This is what they're trying to do. 4th and big. I mean, they need about 9 yards here.
pull a slip on 4th and 4. Then they got a penalty for it.
Now they're in double eagles again. I will say that the fullback kind of stepped up the guy right next to the quarterback, he's not standing beside him this time. That could be for various reasons. Maybe he's just out of line. Maybe they did it by design, but just watch what they do.
I said double Eagles formation. Motion outside man. It's a give.
Okay, so they gave it away, didn't they? Now watch this. When they come back out, I only seen this play one time. They run out of a double Eagles format. But what they did was they took that back that's normally in double Eagles. He's always standing right next to the quarterback. He's right here. This time, he stepped up. Why? So he can get closer to this edge. Why? Because they're going to bring this guy in motion. Now, the rest of you, the defenders, not that they can't run a reverse, not that they couldn't fake this and throw a pass back here. They could do a lot. But they're just trying to put him in motion, straight up jet give like ours. The dead giveaway was, though, for one, he went in motion, only time they did it. Second of all, this fullback was not parallel or even with the quarterback. He was pushed up to the play side like we would put G because they were about to give the ball to him. Just watch it one more time and see if you can't recognize it when they come out of the formation.
Or they got a penalty for it. Same double Eagles formation. Motion outside man. And it's a give. Ooh.
They didn't do very good with it. They didn't do very good this whole day. Let's see where we can go next. Again, this is more or less for you offense, just to kind of look where the defenders are, look where the lanes are.
Going back the other way. There it is, the toss.
I want you to watch these linebackers. They don't come through the middle. They're right to left. Their first steps are right to left. Watch it again. Watch the middle linebackers here. As they're sweeping. They're sweeping a motion to the left side or our left side. Watch these linebackers.
Going back the other way. There it is, the toss.
Something else I want to show you for you offensive linemen. Very important here. Look at the defensive line. They're standing straight up in the air. They're straight up. And it's going to be real easy for you to get up underneath those pads, lift their shoulder pads up into their face mask and drive. Bordeaux drives these guys off this ball 4 yards on every single play. And I believe that our line is just as effective. So watch it again and watch how they can explode off and watch those linebackers, not only how deep these cornerbacks are, but that the linebackers aren't coming through the middle. I think this is how we're going to eat them up on some counter plays.
Going back the other way. There it is, the toss. 4 plays we've seen of offense, 4 motions, 4 tosses with them. Fifth play of offense. Bordeaux coming in their typical formation. Double wings. Motion.
Again, this is more about, look at those linebackers. They're 1, 2, 3, 4 yards deep. So are the cornerbacks. I mean, it's like they want you to try to go up the middle on them. They're telling you that you're not going to sweep on them. They're going to stop it. They're going to be waiting for you.
Giving it every time. It's the 5th time. 5th play, 5th motion. Sixth play of offense, second possession, up 7-0.
This is the one I wanted to show you. Look at the top of the screen for Bordeaux. This is our play number 1 as far as the formation. I want you to show you what the number 2 would look like on that slot or that counter trap, and I also want you to look at the sweep, how wide open it is.
Different formation for Bordeaux. They got a split.
Okay, look out wide. This is so important. Jason Singleton, if you can get out here and get a seal block right here, this is a touchdown every time. They're blitzing a linebacker on this back side. They're missing one on the play side. If we fill here, Gian, hook this end. Connor, you got to find the first linebacker you see. Come through here, give a good lead block, quarterback turnout. 12, you should see a lane for days. I mean, it should be absolutely beautiful. Let's watch how it progresses for them.
Straight give.
They ran that 25 that we have, more of a lead play instead of tossing it. That toss is wide open as long as we can get outside of them. And Jason does his job. G does his job. And Connor gives us an uphill look where he's turning upfield quickly as possible. I think we can have a lot of success and do a lot of damage on that play. Once they pick up on it, we'll hit them back on the counter on the other side. Same formation here.
Ooh, quarterback kept it this time. 1-on-1, he's dangerous.
So you'll see that their cornerbacks are sound tacklers. You see how he was broke down. He didn't really bite a lot. But here's what I also seen with this play. I looked at what this would look like in spaces if we can get some guys open. There is a lot of ground to cover here for a very little bitty guy. If we can come into a dip step and bounce it, stiff arm, slide, a little cold outside, I think we can have a field day with these guys on the outside. They start to get really bunched up, and I think that they're giving up a lot of ground. Instead of hitting them on the outside, then inside, I think we're going to do the opposite. Hit them a lot in the middle and then start taking it to them on the outside, probably the very opposite of how they're going to game plan against us.
Fourth and 2, second possession. 30 seconds.
Same formation.
We're up 7-0. 5 yards from the end zone. Straight lead. Bounce to the outside. We got in there. Touchdown.
They're going off tackle. They're having a lot of success. I'd say they had a field day that day. I think that ended their first quarter.
Six play of offense, second possession, up 7-0. Left in the first. Different formation for Bordeaux. They got a split.
There's only about 2 more formations I want to show you guys that they're going to do. Recognized it again. 3 backs in the backfield. They normally are running that to the outside to our left.
This time they gave it. This is like an end around.
Okay, so watch this. Now, they still run it to the outside, but who they're giving it to is much different this time. This end right here is the one who's going to get this ball. One of these guys is going to go this way to try to confuse you. The other 2 go play side just like you would expect. And then he turns around and they give it to him this way. It's one of the very few times they showed something a little bit trickier, but at the same time, still kind of going in the same direction as they were going to begin with. A good key here, guys, especially for those of you on the defense, is that this guy plays a key role. On this play, he's the one who they do the end around with. In another couple of plays, they're going to line down in this formation, and here's what he's going to do. He's going to release, and he's going to run out here on a flag route. Same catch that Wyatt made on that long 3rd and 20-something in the championship game, and it's wide open. Bordeaux never sees it coming. Unfortunately, their quarterback never gets it off. I believe that play is recorded here, but this is important out of this formation that these are two of the plays that they'll run outside of just giving it to these 3 right or left. They will do an end around back to him, and they will let him go run a pass. Somebody has to get this guy and make sure that he pays off the line of scrimmage. You see him taking off, he's getting the ball. More importantly, if you're lying down in this formation, watching these 3 back here, you got to understand they will throw it to him. When they did it, he was the only route they ran. No one else came out of the backfield. No one came from the backside. It was just this one route. So, it's very stoppable, but you got to be aware of what they're doing. Let's watch this one again as you see this end come around.
This time they gave it. This looks like an end around. This time they gave it. This time they gave it. This looks time they gave it. This looks like an end around.
Still pretty predictable. We haven't seen anything that's, super crazy yet.
Same formation, 3 in the back. They just did a tight end around. This time, quarterback rolled out. Oh, there's a pass. Oh, quarterback fell.
There.
This time, quarterback rolled out. Oh, there's a pass. Oh, quarterback fell.
So this is the play I was just telling you about that came out in that same formation right after they did the end around and was trying to hit this guy deep.
This time, quarterback rolled out. Oh, there's a pass. Oh, quarterback fell. This time, quarterback rolled out. Oh, there's a pass. Oh, quarterback. This time,
tackle and a linebacker, 2 linebackers had a chance to crack this guy. Didn't.
Quarterback rolled out. Oh, there's a pass. Oh, quarterback fell. This time, quarterback rolled out. Oh, there's a pass. Oh, quarterback fell.
So on the defense, you got to watch that guy in that formation. I mean, if he takes off down the field, he's the only one that did. It's an obvious pass. If the line does a good job and cuts through, they're going to put too much pressure on that quarterback, and he's never going to get that pass off. But not only is that a pass or an opportunity for an interception, it's also an opportunity not to get sucked in. If you get sucked up too hard and they go over the top of you, they're going to make you pay for that.
Donelson's gone for it on every 4th down. Even when they was on their own 15-yard line, they paid for it too. We're down 20-0 with 5 left in the second quarter. Formation, 2 eligible.
Okay, this is the first time they show this. You've got 3 guys to our left, 2 guys down low. There's nobody to protect the quarterback. Now, why this is important is because they're really trying to spread you out. What I seen them do was take this guy and they run a slant right across the middle, and he's looking hard to throw that ball. I don't know what you guys are going to do on the defense to counter that, but this middle linebacker has to be aware that that pass is coming to him, and whoever's guarding him, I would say that if you seen this formation, 3 to one side, 2 on the other, coaches, you might agree to maybe bump this guy, definitely play him on the inside to cut away or take away this slant. I want you to see how this play progresses, but it's clear that that's his only option. That's definitely where he wants to go with this ball.
3 eligible, single quarterback in the backfield. Backfield.
They didn't do it on that play. Let me find the one where they did. They run that same formation or something similar to it twice.
Double eagles. Two spread out on the left, two spread on the right. Single back set. We did an X pass over here, pull back into the back. X pass over here, pull back.
So this is a new one. It's not the one I was just showing you, but this is something that they did out of that same formation. It's a standard double eagles. You got 1, 2, 3, 4. This time the protection is on the left side. When they put this guy on the right side, they brought this guy in motion on the outside and gave it to him. But on this one, you'll see that the fullback is on the left side, and the reason is they want to swoop him out here and do our double eagles bubble pass. That's all it is. This guy's going to come right here and turn around. This guy's going to go right here, and he's going to pick this guy. It's just an X route out here. It's the same thing we do, except for they're trying to block. And then the quarterback is just dump passing this thing over. You got to watch this fullback. If you see this formation and he's to your right, that means they're probably likely to run this play. It's the only time they did it. When he's on the other side, your left, and then they bring this guy in motion, they're giving it to that guy. Those are two huge giveaways in their alignment.
Single back set. We did an X pass over here, pull back into the. We did an X pass over here, pull back into the. We did an X pass over here, pull back into the back.
Let's see what else they got. I want to make sure I didn't miss a couple of these. I believe I did. For the most part, you guys are getting the gist of it, though, and we're going to end this here shortly. I just wanted you guys to see some of the formations that they do, so you'll be used to it. Okay, so on this one, you'll see that it looks like they're almost missing a guy on this play. But
one coming down in motion. What is this?
In this formation, I still think that they were missing one after double counting, but this guy turns around for really what's going to be a trips right, pass right. These guys are going downfield and blocking right away. You can see there's 3 of them, only 2 defenders out here. The quarterback doesn't look here first, though. This one lone receiver scooted in, and all he really does is that slant route. This is the second time he does this. If you stare at the quarterback on this one, you'll see he never really looks out to the right. When he does, it's too late. He's trying to throw this slant the whole time. They never got it off. They tried this about 2 different times. I want you to look at it close.
But the missing fullback. Looking at slant. Get rid of this. The missing fullback. Was looking at slant. Get rid of this.
You can see that the quarterback doesn't make the greatest of decisions when he's under pressure. I mean, not that anybody would, but the more pressure you can put on him, the better off you're going to be, linemen. Don't give up on the sack. Put some pressure on him. He hasn't ever shown that he wants to take off and run. He's committed to that throw, and I can tell you right now, just from pregame, the boy's got an arm. I don't know why he don't just let a couple of them go, but he is very accurate. I think he's just kind of, protecting the ball, waiting for somebody to be wide open.
Formation.
That was a reverse that Bordeaux tried to run. I didn't really want to see Bordeaux's offense at the end this thing. So let me just double check that we haven't missed anything. Again, I think we've seen enough of their formation to know what we're seeing on defense or on offense. I just want to make sure that we're not missing any major plays that we could have benefited from. I think we've seen them all. The only one we were missing is that one slant from the double eagles, but it was so clear that what they were doing, that as long as you understand that inside guy will run a slant.
This is like an end around.
Yeah, this is that end around. So all in all, you see the three running backs in the backfield. They're running to the right or the left. They will run an end around out of it like they just did, or they'll run that same tight end on a flag route whenever you see those three running backs directly behind the quarterback in a row. We've seen the wing T. They ran it to that wing twice, and then pretty much right up the middle twice. And then we've seen their wide receiver sets. When they have two on each side, you look at the fullback. If he's on the right, they're either going to run a jet sweep to that side, or they'll throw a slant back to the left, or a trips right, pass right situation on your right. Every other time in double eagles, the inside guys run out patterns. The outside guys run deep patterns. And then other than that, you just got to be careful of this, out of double eagles, or if they have three or four, I couldn't find that play. If they have like three or four guys on the top of the screen out wide up here and two guys down here. And all this guy did was took about 2 steps and ran straight across. And the quarterback was trying to get a slant to him the whole time. That's, pretty much it. At the end of the day, though, you can see if you'll get after that quarterback, you can have a lot of success. Something else we didn't really key in on here on the videos, but on the line, when they are on offense, they will submarine block the defense on passes. So if they plan on throwing a pass, they will dive directly in to your shins. I know that as a D-line, that stops you from blitzing. If you know it's coming, though, you can just push their faces down in the ground and jump right over the top of them and jailbreak that quarterback, who's, again, trying to throw it more than he is trying to run it. And if you'll fan out, stay in your lanes, and converge on him, you'll get a lot of sacks and cause a lot of problems for him. If you let them dive into your ankles and take you down, you won't be as effective as a pass rusher. Again, they are diving for your ankles. I don't know if they just did that because they couldn't handle the bull rush, which I'm assuming they're going to have the same problem with us. But I know that was a call that they were making, and when you watch the video slowly, when they're passing out of a 4 or 5 receiver set, the offensive line was diving straight towards your shins. Now, on the other side of the ball, when they are on defense, they did the same thing. They will monkey roll those guys and get on the ground and roll into you to try to keep your hands from being up and blocking, trying to knock you down to cause a big pile up, forcing your backs to make a decision while their linebackers come up and fill. So you're going to have to stay low when it comes to the O-line, and it shouldn't be that hard for the majority of their D-line in that they're standing straight up. If anything, if you're explosive and watch the ball, you're able to get up underneath them. From my understanding, just from seeing it, I know Bordeaux's a little bit bigger. They're not quite as big as Crimson, but they beat Crimson. Is that Donelson's line is smaller than us, at least smaller than our largest 4 to 5 guys. We shouldn't have a problem physically being a force with them. And all of their backs, I would say, are as athletic, probably not as athletic as G and 12 as a whole. And they don't have a Memphis. They don't, not at all, not even close. And if you take Blake and Wyatt and Jason in comparison, we are tit for tat, dime for dime, as athletic and explosive and as talented just as much. You can see that their offense is eerily similar to ours as our play selections and calls. If anything, I'd say we're fancier. I mean, we're a lot more shiny than they are, and we should have a lot of success. Guys, you can jump on our YouTube channel. If you go to YouTube, look at the bottom left of the screen here, and go to YouTube and just look up Power Sport King. You can look up our videos. You can find these videos, play them, fast forward them, blow them up on your own time. Not all of our videos are on here, but the videos for this particular game situation are still there live. So if they wanted to go back and watch something outside of the video I just sent you, which you can also kind of slow down and rewatch. Let's just thinking about it. There's a few videos that I skipped and missed just the way I was doing it. You can go back and watch those videos slow motion if you want to, and kind of see where they may be showing you signs or indications that they may be doing a certain thing at certain times. Other than that, I hope you enjoyed our first, kind of game film practice experience. Hopefully we can do more of these during bad or cold weather, or during the off season, or even during the regular season, where we might do our regular scheduled practices. And if Coach LB has some game film for you guys on some opponents that we're about to play, we might add this in like on a certain afternoon or morning where we normally wouldn't have a physical practice, just as a way of game study, game film, a link like this where you guys can pull it up whenever you're free and not doing homework or chores at home or resting in other practices. So I appreciate it. Look forward to seeing you guys Thursday night, suited up, ready to go. No weigh-ins. This is for blood. We're going for the victory. We're protecting this house. I'll see you guys